Astros games prior to this recent stretch. Great to have him back after missing a little more than 3 weeks. The team winning 8 games during that stretch, but struggling offensively as we showed you a moment ago. And today it'll be a bullpen day for both teams. And the Astros will line up things this way as we present our Southwest starting lineup. Good to see 27 Jose Altuve back in there. Not the complete crew though. Still missing George Springer for the second straight day. So Alex Bregman leads off and plays third base. Altuve hits second. Carlos Correa is the shortstop batting third. Marwin Gonzalez hits cleanup. Tyler White DHs and bats fifth. Yuli Gurriel batting sixth. Josh Reddick in right field. Max Stassi behind the plate, and Tony Kemp in center field.
With all the excitement of Tuve Tuesday, we've got even more excitement for you. It's going to be a bullpen day like TK said. Mike Leake has been scratched from the start today. He's not feeling too good, maybe have Altuve-itis. But it's going to be Nick Vincent, who has 355 appearances on his career. This will be his first start of his career, or as we like to call it nowadays, the opener for him. In 45 games this season, he has a 3-2 record. 41 innings pitched, and the opponent batting average at .231. Should be an interesting day, and everybody will be loose out there in that bullpen early.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of arms today for both sides as we take a look at the defense behind Nick Vincent this evening. Denard Span in left field. Mitch Haniger tied for the major league lead with 10 assists. He's in center. Ben Gamble is in right. Kyle Seager and Gene Segura on the left side of the infield. D. Gordon and Ryan Healy on the right side. Chris Herman's behind the plate for Nick Vincent. Starting tonight for Mike Leake, who normally would be in there in the rotation, but illness forcing him out of the start tonight. So we get a bullpen day for both sides, as Vincent will work out of the stretch to start this game, kind of fitting for a reliever. Vincent has not gone more than an inning and 2/3 all season long, and 25 pitches is the most he's thrown in any appearance this year. So we'll see how deep he can go tonight as Alex Bregman leads things off.
And the stuff isn't all that much different from Mike Leake, maybe a little more sink from Mike Leake, but Vincent is a fastball 88 to 90 miles an hour, a lot of cut fastballs.
Bregman sends one down the line and left, headed towards the crowd, and it's actually playable, and it's caught. Span gets there, and it looked like he thought that was going to be in the crowd the whole way and just kind of reached out and caught it. Alex Bregman surprised.
I think Span is surprised. I honestly feel like he didn't think he had a play on this. The last second just reaches out and makes the catch.
Fooled me. The way he was going after that. He said, yep, I got it. I had it all the way. Well, you may have noticed behind Denard Span in left field, as Altuve will get his first at bat in over 3 weeks, Brad Peacock's warming up for his start in the bullpen, which you don't often see very.
Well, it only makes sense for a bullpen guy in a visiting ballpark. Keep it normal. Just come out of the pen.
There's your starter, Brad Peacock, warming up. Altuve back in the lineup. Great to see him. We have missed seeing Jose Altuve swing a baseball bat for the Astros. Still third in the American League at .329 on the batting average. Still near the top 10 with 134 hits. He's still leading all of baseball in road batting average, all of baseball in average against righties. He is back after one game in a rehab assignment at AAA Fresno, playing not far from here in Tacoma. Altuve with good numbers against Nick Vincent. 6 for 11 in his career against this Seattle reliever turned starter for the night.
Sometimes recently it feels like this offense has been a little bit flat. This guy will not allow that to happen with his energy. He's yet to take a pitch. He's up here to hack.
Coming right off the DL, hack it. Gotta love it.
And the biggest thing when you're watching Jose Altuve is that right knee was what caused the issue. That's his load leg. If you see him getting on the legs and using those legs, that tells you he's healthy.
Placed on the DL July 29th, but it was retroactive to the 26th of July. Reaches out and punches one towards first. Played there by Healy. He will race to the bag ahead of Altuve. Altuve ends up grounding out on his first at bat back off the DL.
Going well off the outside corner. That's that cut fastball. Trying to shoot that baseball the other way, unfortunately, right at Ryan Healy. But again, he's on his legs. It looked like he was running good to first base. Those are just some of the things to keep an eye on.
Altuve last playing in a series in Colorado a couple of road trips ago. And here's Carlos Correa. Correa in his 10th game back from the DL. He missed 36 games with a little back issue. We still have not seen the combination of Altuve, Correa, and Springer all together in the lineup. With Altuve back tonight, George missing his 2nd consecutive game. That quad area bothering him a little bit, a little leg soreness. And Correa down in the count 0-2. I think Vincent is going to be a guy who's around the plate pretty much. 69% strike percentage. That is the highest of all relievers, even though he's now a starter for the night. On the ground in the hole, Carlos has himself a base hit. Correa grounds one between third and short. He's a 2-out base runner on an 0-2 pitch.
It's good to see Carlos get around that pitch and kind of yank it. Seen him so conscious about going up the middle the other way that I feel that sometimes the barrel gets lost and starts to drag through the zone, but he gets on top of that one and rakes it for a base hit. You talked about those 10 games since he's come back until that hit, hitting .094.
3 for 32.
Ooh.
Now 4 for 33. It has been a slow return back for Carlos. He just snapped an 0 for 7. Here's a guy who has not been slowed lately. Marwin, and he drives one down the line and right, just foul. Correa was on his horse thinking he might have a chance to score. Instead, it is just foul down the right field line.
Marwin is seeing the ball extremely well. Julia talked about those numbers in August. He has easily been the most consistent and dynamic player in this lineup in the month of August. Making a bid for another extra base hit and RBI.
Marwin with 60% of the Astros hits last night. He had 3 hits. The rest of the team had 2. Marwin a home run, a double, a single, and 4 at bats. The rest of the team went 2 for 28. So he drove in 3. He also scored the 4th run. Pitch just misses. 2-1. 83 degrees at game time.
The last pitch on our MD Anderson strike zone, just off the outside corner. Crew chief Mike Winters behind home plate.
We do still see smoke in the area. It's not quite as bad as it was last night, but it's still in the air.
Definitely is. Statcast AI powered by AWS shows the shift on against Marwin Gonzalez. D. Gordon playing Rover out there in right field.
Now 3-1. So 3-1 to Marwin, who is as hot as anybody in the lineup. Tyler White behind him. We'll see if Marwin gets a pitch to drive. Marwin giving the Astros an early 1-0 lead last night. And the second time up gave him a lead once again, 3-2 on a double. 3-1 pitch popped high in the air. Left field side playable. Seager from third base makes the play for the final out. 1 hit, 1 man left on base. Mariners and Scott's service tonight. Mitch Haniger staying in that leadoff spot. He's done a lot of damage against the Astros since moving to that leadoff spot. Robinson Cano DHs, Gene Segura at short. Denard Span bats cleanup. No Nelson Cruz tonight. A little bit of back issue with Nelson. Kyle Seager at third base. Ryan Healy at first. Ben Gamble in right field. Chris Herman behind the plate, and D. Gordon bats ninth.
Brad Peacock is on the bump for your Houston Astros. It's not uncommon to see him out there. He had 17 starts last season for the Houston Astros. Has pitched in relief the entire season of 2018 until today. Good numbers on the season, 81 strikeouts and 53 2/3 innings pitched. See how long he can go for A.J. Hinch today.
Both starters beginning the game working out of the stretch. That's where Peacock and Vincent feel most comfortable. And Brad, who was split time between starting and relieving, as Blummer mentioned, getting his first start this year over his career. He is making his 68th start against 76 appearances out of the bullpen. Haniger will lead things off in 11 games as a leadoff hitter. Haniger batting .391. Started that process at the top of the lineup for the Mariners in a game against Houston to start that 4-game set at Minute Maid Park. 4 for 5 that day, and Service hasn't moved him out of the top spot since. Tries to hold up, but it's a called strike. 1-2 the count. Peacock, like Vincent, will not be extended in this game. Brad Peacock, even though he has been a starter, deepest he's gone in any game this year is 3 innings, and the most pitches he's thrown in any game is 39. Ground ball foul. So by the time the end of this game rolls around, you might see 4, 5, or 6 pitchers used on both sides. There's also been some roster additions made to these bullpens in preparation for this bullpen day. The Astros making theirs early in the day. Zeno Perez, who really hadn't been pitching a lot at the big league level and hadn't been stretched out as much, was sent out. And Framber Valdez is called up to potentially make his debut. AJ has a lefty in his bullpen now who can go multiple innings. Same thing for Seattle. And their roster move came late in the day when Mike Leake was ill. They also called up a lefty, Ross Detweiler, who has been starting in the minor leagues. So we'll see how the whole game plays out, but some roster juggling before the game to get ready for this bullpen day. Two-two pitch right down the middle, called third strike. Haniger goes down looking, and Brad Peacock has picked up a strikeout to start this game.
A couple of fastballs inside, but this is a nice two-seam fastball from Brad Peacock, just tailing over that outside corner to get the strikeout looking.
How about the defense behind Peacock tonight? Marwin Gonzalez is in left field. Center is Tony Kemp once again in place of George Springer. Josh Reddick in right. Carlos Correa and Alex Bregman on the left side. Jose Altuve at second base, and Yuli Gurriel back to first tonight. Max Stassi behind the plate. Here's Robinson Cano. Cano was a hero of the game last night for Seattle, as he hit a 3-run home run in the 8th inning. Give the M's a 7-4 lead. That would be the final score of the game. He also added 2 doubles. Prior to last night, hadn't had any extra base hits since coming off the suspended list a week ago tonight. 0-1 pitch is fouled out of play. It's 0-2. Cano had 2 of the 6 doubles for the Mariners. Caught Willie Mays on the career doubles list last night, and then passed him and joined Ken Griffey Jr. Tied for 46th all time. If he gets one more, he'll be tied with Ted Williams. Some huge names in that category that he's been matched up with lately. 1-2 the count. Number 5 on the all-time doubles list is a guy the Astros fans know very well, Craig Biggio with 668. Ways to go for Cano to get there. On the ground, diving attempt by Yuli. He makes the play to Peacock covering. That is an outstanding defensive play by Yuli Gurriel.
Tell you what, that's something else that having Jose Altuve in your lineup does, is it puts Yuli back in his traditional position, at least recently at first base. He has been very good over there. It's nice to have an athletic Yuli back at first base, laying out, making a great play for Brad Peacock. You're going to need to see some defense step up behind pitchers today, just because they're trying to maximize those pitch counts.
Over the course of a few broadcasts, we've had people ask about Yuli Gurriel with his cap, the number 13 and the initials LM, as Gene Segura bats with 2 outs and the base is empty. Segura rips one in the left for a base hit. This inning going very similarly to the first inning for the Astros, with 2 outs and now a base hit in between third and short. So there you see Yuli's hat. 13 LM is Leonis Martin, who's been struggling and battling in Texas, and he just wants Leonis to know that he's in his thoughts.
Yeah, I believe it's a little bit of a bacterial infection where he was having some issues, but fighting back from that. Kind of some scary moments, but a lot of players thinking about Leonis Martin, and that's why that is on the hat. A lot of guys for the Cleveland Indians have the same inscription on their hats.
Tight-knit community in the baseball world, so hopefully that answers those questions as to what Yuli was wearing on the hat through this road trip, as Denard Span takes a called strike. It's 0-1. Span batting in the cleanup spot tonight. We mentioned back spasms keeping the normal cleanup hitter Nelson Cruz out of the lineup. Span's second time is the 4-hitter. And Gurriel gloves this himself, makes a nice play as he avoids the short hop, and Yuli playing some D in the first.
Sportsnet SW. What's your favorite Astros road performance this year? Is it Garrett Cole with the 1-hitter at Arizona, striking out 16? How about George Springer? 6 hits in 1 game against the Oakland A's, or Justin Verlander, who dominated the Dodgers that night, 14 strikeouts. Marwin Gonzalez, the big 9th-run home run against the San Francisco Giants after they were down the entire game. Those were some fun games. Vote. We'll tell you which one wins later. TK?
You're right, Julie. Great moments on the road all year long. Coming into this road trip, a 41-18 record for the Astros on the road. The best in the major leagues. They are no longer the best in the major leagues, having gone 1-3 so far to start this trip. But still plenty of time. They are playing 5 more games on this road trip, as they have 2 more in Seattle and 3 more in Anaheim. As Tyler White will lead things off. White is the DH tonight for just the 2nd time this year. Evan Gaddis, 93 games as a DH, getting a breather. He's been struggling a little bit lately. Gaddis is 4 for his last 34, and White has been hot. Even though Tyler didn't have a hit last night, he has hit in 8 of the last 9 games. Had a hitting streak snap last night. Tries to hold up, but he goes around on that pitch by Nick Vincent, and that is the first strikeout for the Mariners right-hander, and 1 out in the second.
Expanding the zone. You can see Herman, the catcher, set up high and gets a pitch where he wants it. Now you see why.
Well, with 2 out of 3 lefties due up in the Astros lineup, Ross Detweiler, who was just activated before the game, called up by the Mariners. And there he is warming up in their bullpen. He started the year in independent ball. Yuli swings and sends a high fly ball into shallow left field. Denard Span comes in and makes this play for out number 2. Vincent just rolling along here with only 18 pitches, and he will face the lefty, Josh Reddick.
Yeah, both AAA teams just down the road, maybe an hour south of here in Tacoma. Just go ahead and get the shuttle lined up. See if we can make some in-game roster moves.
Kind of crazy night tonight. Bullpen days for both sides. Josh trying to snap an 0 for 11. He is 1 for 14 on this trip so far. Vincent had a couple of rehab assignments in 2016 and actually one in 2017 as well, where he pitched an inning as a starter, but that really doesn't count. The last time he was truly a starter was all the way back in 2008 with the Padres. Made a spot start in 2010, but after 08, his first year in pro ball, the Padres decided he was a reliever, and he really hasn't started other than those little blips on the radar in a rehab assignment since 08 until tonight. 336 game appeared in his first as a starter, kind of the opposite of Felix, who was 399 starts last night in his 400th career outing. Reddick, though, with a count of 3-0. Maybe Scott Service wishes he went to the lefty here. Now it's 3-1. Detweiler is definitely in, you would think, next inning if Vincent's able to get through this inning with 22 pitches on his ledger. They're not going to warm up Detweiler this early if they're not going to bring him in. And there is ball 4. So 2-out walk to Reddick.
It's got to be the first time that a contending team has started a game with an opener and just gone flat out bullpen day.
Both sides.
Well, Mike Leake was going to start,
I got you.
but he bailed because he was sick.
Right.
But I'm just saying, a #1 team in the division going out there and starting a ball game knowing they were going to go through that bullpen.
And the funny thing is that, yeah, you're right. This has been in the plans for a little while.
It's crazy.
And the Astros may end up with a little wrinkle over the Anaheim series. We'll find out how that plays out. But AJ saying that Garrett Cole will make a start back at home for his next outing, which means we could see a different starter in that Anaheim series than we're used to, as AJ has been rolling through. He's been rolling through the same 4 guys, even with the off days, have been getting normal rest, but they haven't been getting any extra rest.
And that's where I think he might try and contemplate, do I need to get another starter up here just to create that 5th spot to give those guys extra time? Because let's be honest, they've been good, but they haven't been as sharp. Maybe a little bit of fatigue with Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander. Garrett talked about grinding through that start last night, but a lot of credit given to the opposing team because they put together some good ABs. And to your point about the 4 or 5 starters they've used this season, Brad Peacock is the 6th starter technically that they've used all season.
Off Vincent. Is he going to recover in time to make the play? He does. That was probably going to be his last batter either way, but he is hit by that comebacker as he walks off gingerly.
out there for his second inning of work. So we are going to check out his slider breakdown over the last couple of seasons. 2016, it was good. .94 average against it. 2017 is when we really saw it come into prominence and be a lethal weapon as far as getting the swing and miss for Brad Peacock. But this season, using it much more at 43%, and the opponent batting average at 181, and fifth best whiff percentage in all of baseball on that slider for Brad Peacock.
Well, there he is, Framber Valdez, warming up in the Astros bullpen.
He was slated to start tonight for the Fresno Grizzlies.
He's just been called up to AAA, made a couple of starts for the Grizz, and now potentially making his big league debut. We'll see how and when AJ decides to bring him in. We saw Ross Detweiler warming up last inning for the Mariners as Kyle Seager leads off against Brad Peacock. Peacock misses with the slider. It's 1-1. Brad always talks about the arm slot and trying to find that consistency with the slider. Blummer just showed you and told you about his percentage usage here the last 3 years. That is a lot of swings and misses he has picked up with that pitch. Last year, one of the MVPs of that pitching staff. Guy who was able to do everything for AJ Hinch, whether he needed him as a starter or out of the bullpen, and use him as both in the postseason as well.
That was a pretty remarkable season to watch Brad Peacock go 17 starts, basically half the season as a starter, and then move back into that bullpen and just be wipe out. But what a huge weapon he was to be able to have that kind of versatility in the rotation and bullpen for AJ.
And then come the first round of the playoffs, the ALDS against Boston, AJ had Peacock as one of his starters. That changed for the next couple of rounds as Lance McCullers Jr. moved back in there. What a year for Peacock. 50th appearance this year. In his first start, it's 2-2. Kyle Seager takes one outside. The count's full. Seager, Ryan Healy, Ben Gamel. Mariners have 5 lefties in the lineup tonight, which is why a quick turnaround to Framber Valdez could be effective. He's got service with all his righties and one switch hitter on the bench. Grounded into the shift right to Carlos Correa. The shortstop makes the play. One of the shorter throws he'll have to make tonight. And that's one away in the second. Today is Twitter Tuesday, which means we are asking your opinion of the following topic tonight. Who is the Astros' biggest threat for the American League West title? You can send your thoughts to @ATTSportsNetSW. We start the night with the Astros and the A's exactly even at 75 and 50 through 125 games. Seattle 3.5 games back at 72 and 54. And you have the Angels, who are still sitting at 500. Here's Ryan Healy. Swing and a miss. If the Angels are still at 500 or better by the time the Astros get into town for that series on Friday, the Astros will play everybody in the month of August with a 500 or better record. The Angels will face the Astros again later on at the very end of the month back at Minute Maid Park, but they've had a tough little schedule here during this stretch where they've been without some of their stars. Ryan Healy with an 0-2 count. Healy coming in batting at .238. He's 5 for 15 against Peacock with a home run. The Astros had the best road record in the major leagues coming into this trip. They're now 42 and 21. Second best road record in the major leagues now, trailing Boston. The Red Sox lost tonight. They have lost 3 in a row. What is going on?
Panic. Pure panic. They've only got about a 38-game lead, it feels like, in that division.
They are no longer 50 games above 500. With the loss, they're 88 and 39 as Healy with a single into center field. He's a one-out base runner. As you enjoy a cold one, look forward to the Miller Lite Hold True moment later in the game. Red Sox losing to Cleveland tonight. We mentioned last night with the Indians winning 3 in a row. All 5 teams who would qualify if the season ended now in the American League playoffs have better records than the best record in the National League. Here's Ben Gamble taking one on the inside corner for a strike.
It's pretty interesting to see the Cleveland Indians going out there and winning a couple of games. Kluber, I believe, pitched last night, but really it's been the offense for the Cleveland Indians going out there putting up 6 today. But looks like Michael Brantley swinging the bat well. Jose Ramirez is going to be MVP, right? J.D. Davis in that series too. But I mean,
J.D. Martinez.
J.D. Martinez, I'm sorry, but Jose Ramirez for me has been absolutely incredible. 28 stolen bases.
Yes.
We don't hear about that ever.
No.
He's a 30-30 guy waiting to happen, if not more.
Yeah, he's putting up huge numbers. J.D. Martinez now leads the league in hits, in addition to all his power numbers leading the way.
Yeah, Mookie Betts is in there too. He's a stolen base power threat.
Ball is hooked foul. Nice play by the ball girl down the right field line. 0-2 the count.
Could Betts hit 350 and be a 30-30 guy? Does that ever happen? That seems incredible.
It's amazing. Some of the numbers that are being put up this year from individuals. There are so many great possible MVP candidates in the American League. And then you look in the National League and nobody has those kind of numbers.
Yeah, no.
I mean, there's been better pitching in the National League. You've got some great Cy Young candidates, but there's not one standout MVP candidate in the NL. And you go to the AL and you've got guys just having monster seasons. Peacock with a count of 0-2 on Ben Gamble. Safe to say, with both managers going to bullpen action early and both left-handers in the pens just kind of standing around, Valdez will throw a pitch every now and then, but Detweiler has pretty much stopped his warm-ups, that neither of these pitchers is going to see the lineup very deep the second time around. I think that was part of the plan going in for AJ, and has become part of the plan in a scratch starter situation for the Mariners tonight. There's Fromber. He's thrown like one pitch every 3 or 4 that Brad Peacock throws. Same thing with Detweiler right behind him. So they're ready when needed. 2-2 pitch. Gamble holds up, and Peacock misses the outside corner. 3-2.
First sign of fatigue on guys that have thrown more pitches than they're accustomed to as they start missing arm side. That fastball to the outside corner to left-handed hitter is what we're talking about. All he needs to do is get back in the zone one time for a swing and miss.
Oh, that's a strike. How about that? There you go, Blummer. Good call.
Well, he overcompensated. He was way off the outside corner, yanked that pitch to the glove side, which missed his spot, but froze Gamble, thankfully.
Gamble didn't like it, but it looked like he could have had part of the inside corner for Peacock's second strikeout.
I agree with you. Luckily, Max Stassi just held his ground, stuck the glove out there so the home plate umpire, Mike Winters, could get a good peek at it. Seager in the dugout didn't like that one at all.
And you know what that's based on? It's just based on where the catcher is.
Yes.
From the side of the dugout, you can't really tell where the plate is.
Yep.
So he's basing it on Stassi is set up outside part of the plate, and the ball runs to the inside, and he has to go catch it. But that was a strike.
And thankfully, Stassi didn't use his whole body to go get the baseball. He just used the glove, and that's what I mean. Keeping the center of his body on that outside corner and just reaching across allowed the home plate umpire to see the glove and not the body.
Per Baseball Prospectus, Max Stassi is the best pitch framer in the game this year. Now Peacock ahead of Chris Herman, 0-2. Herman hits one into right field for a base hit. So 2 on now. With 2 outs. That'd be the third hit allowed by Brad Peacock. It'd also be the last batter that Peacock will face out of the dugout with another lefty due up, and D. Gordon out of the dugout comes A.J. Hinch. He will go to his lefty. We'll have a major league debut when we come back as Brad Peacock's night is over. Is number 65, Framber Valdez.
Seen Framber in spring training for the Houston Astros. This will be our first opportunity to see him in a regular season big league uniform, making that major league debut. 77 games in the minor leagues in 43 starts. He's had 370 strikeouts. Number 11 prospect. Fastball, slider, the occasional changeup. I think that's the pitch he is working on mostly. But in 14 starts in AAA, or between AAA and AA, 4.11 ERA. And again, he was supposed to start today in Fresno.
He will take over with 2 outs and 2 on in a lineup that facing Valdez has 6 of 9 left-handed hitters, including the guy that played right now, D. Gordon. After you get by Gene Segura in the lineup, 5 of the last 6 in the lineup are lefties. Only Ryan Healy bats from the right side. So Valdez may be in there for a little lengthier stay than Brad Peacock was, as Peacock goes an inning and 2/3 and allows 3 singles. Valdez drops in another strike, and a nice start to the big league career by going 0-2 on D. Gordon.
A couple of good breaking balls.
Valdez, minor league pitcher of the month for the month of July, earned him a move up to AAA Fresno, made a couple of starts for the Grizzlies, and now here he is at the big league level. 0-2 pitch in the air to center field. Josh Reddick is there as the Astros have the shift on, and Framber Valdez gets an out. First batter he faces.
Out of celebration. One of his future teammates right there in Jed Lowry. They are both doing good things in Oakland. But a huge asset in 2015. He also did a good job last year in the month of August, keeping things together partly in that rotation for the Houston Astros, as Ross Detweiler is now on for the Seattle Mariners.
Now, Detweiler just called up before the game. He was a former #1 pick by the Washington Nationals back in 2007, 6th overall. Earlier this year, he was pitching an independent ball for the York Revolution in the Atlantic League. Was pitching well enough that found out that a few scouts were going to go out and look at him, and before a scout could see his next game, Seattle's like, we don't need to look at you, we will sign you. Next thing you know, he's in Tacoma, and here he is back in the big leagues. He'll face Tony Kemp. So one starter, Nick Vincent, normally a reliever, goes 2 innings in his first ever start. And the other starter, Brad Peacock, who's been only a reliever this year, goes an inning and 2/3. Detweiler back in the big leagues and delivers a strike to Tony Kemp. So you've got 2 guys who are probably going through a little adrenaline rush for different reasons now. You got Framber Valdez making his big league debut, and you have Detweiler, and while he's been around the big leagues, once you hit independent ball at a certain age, you're not sure if you're ever going to get another chance.
Look back at that 2000 draft in the first round.
32-year-old delivers down low. It's 1-2 to Kemp. Detweiler's last major league outing came with the Oakland A's in 2016. Also spent some time with Cleveland in their bullpen that year. Two and two the count. In the Cubs organization last year, but didn't pitch at the big league level. Outside is 3-2.
Another pitch that missed its spot, but you see the catcher's body moving, kind of distracts the umpire a little bit. Tony battling. It's tough as a hitter, and you know you're going to face about 4 or 5 different guys on the mound because you have an idea of what a team is trying to do to you, but each guy is just a little bit different as far as tendencies are concerned.
Kemp keeps battling here. He was down in the count 0-2, and it's full, and he keeps battling with pitches fouled away. 7 pitches so far from Detweiler. All 4. Detweiler walks the first batter he faces, Tony Kemp, with a leadoff walk. Biggest threat is by far the Astros themselves. On our Twitter Tuesday, we asked you who's the biggest threat in the AL West. This team plays up to its potential. The other team shouldn't matter. Monique thinks the A's are the team that has to be feared the most. Showed you Mike Fiers at the beginning of this inning. He almost threw another no-hitter last night. 7 innings of 1-hit baseball. Keep an eye on that A's score tonight. It's 1-0 as they play in the 4th inning against the Rangers. Control was the issue last year for Detweiler. Probably one of the reasons why he was not kept, as he was pitching at AAA for both the Cubs and the A's organization last year. 23 innings. Last year he walked 15. And a called strike. It's 1-1. But there's a lot of guys that if you are a former #1 pick and you've had success at the big league level and then you've struggled at the minor league level, didn't pitch last year in the majors, that would not have gone back to an independent league when nobody came calling this spring. But Detweiler's credit, he did, and he has found himself back in the big leagues. Ground foul. It's 1-2. Alex flied out to left his first time up.
Kind of fits into that old cliche that if you're left-handed and can breathe, you're going to get a job. So really no reason for Ross Detweiler to give up too soon. Continue to pitch, get noticed, and get back in the big leagues. But the game is definitely getting younger. I think a lot of it's due to the analytics, the regression patterns that they have for these guys as they get past that 30-year-old mark. Obviously contracts are an issue too as far as paying some of these guys, but if you got a left arm and you can pitch, you're going to get an opportunity.
Breaking ball sent into left field for a base hit. Alex Bregman with a clean single, and that extends his on base streak to 41 games on the road.
Big breaking ball coming right back into the zone for Alex. Just pulls it in that 5.5 hole. Keep things moving along. Got a walk and a base hit. Now you're heading into the meat of the order with nobody out. You know, this guy at the dish right now would like to have an impact immediately with a big swing right here.
Jose Altuve just back off the DL, grounded to first base his first time up. And he swings at the first pitch and fouls one. Altuve, one of the few Astros who have seen Detweiler before. Amongst the other teams he's pitched for, in addition to Washington, he pitched with the Texas Rangers. He was with them for about 3.5 months in 2015. Altuve is 2 for 8 against Detweiler with a double and a couple of walks. Off the plate, it's 1-1. Tony Kemp on second, Alex Bregman on first. Jose Altuve at the plate in an RBI situation. Altuve bounces one foul. It's 1-2.
Altuve hitting .360 against the Seattle Mariners this season.
Off the edge, it's 2-2.
Like a changeup on that outside corner. Altuve with a good eye.
On the ground, foul. Astros trying to get something going against Ross Detweiler. Nick Vincent, the starting pitcher, 2 innings of one-hit baseball, also walked a batter. Detweiler just called up, has thrown 17 pitches so far, a walk, a single, and a 2-2 count to Altuve. 2. Well, how greedy does A.J. Hinch want to get? He's got Jose Altuve.
Send him.
Yeah.
Send
You've got
him.
Jose Altuve just off the DL.
You got good speed out there. You got Tony Kemp, Alex Bregman at first base. Make sure he goes home and take off.
3-2 count, nobody out. Runners stay put, and Altuve draws the walk. Bases are loaded with nobody out in the 3rd. Walk, single walk.
Safe to say I'm a little more of an aggressive manager, I guess. Got to send everybody, get things moving. Force that infield to move around a little bit, but instead it's a pitch well outside. Now Altuve has loaded him up.
The bases are loaded for Carlos Correa. Carlos with a single his first time up.
How about a welcome back to the big league moment like this for Ross Detweiler?
19 pitches, 10 strikes, 9 out of the zone for Detweiler so far.
Huh. Correa doesn't have a grand slam in his career.
Swing and a high fly ball just got under it. Deep enough to score Kemp. Denard Span makes the call. Bregman's tagging at second. He's bluffing. Kemp's coming home, and the Astros have a run. 1-0. They take the lead on the sac fly by Carlos Correa.
Almost had it, too. Man, good swing by Carlos. Just missed it. Just a click underneath it. Good recognition. Got the head out just underneath it. But still, the mentality, you can tell what the mentality was by the swing he took. He was looking for something to drive to the outfield.
Even though he only has 4 hits since coming back from the DL, he does have 5 runs batted in, including that one right there. So now 2 on and 1 out for Marwin Gonzalez. A little bit surprised Bregman did not test Denard Span and try and get to third base there with 1 out.
I agree, but I wonder, you know, you look at who's coming up. Do you force the issue and try and get over there?
Wasn't an easy call, but it's certainly one that we've seen Bregman try and advance before on a fly ball like that. Marwin popped up his first time up. And he fouls one away. It's 0-2. Astros on the board first. They were on the board first last night. Ross Detweiler in his first major league action since 2016, giving up a run in his first inning. Also has pitched for the Rangers, the Braves, the Indians, and the A's in his career. On the ground towards third, Seager will step on the bag and make the throw across in time. Marwin grounds into a double play to end the inning. Astros lead 1-0.
Yuli Uriel moving back over to first. Alex Bregman over there with the time that Carlos Correa had missed. These guys are back, and I asked Carlos about having Altuve back and what that does for the middle of the infield and just those two guys right there. And he said it's huge. I mean, we love his bat, but it is big. I mean, he is one of we all consider ourselves captains out there because of the way that we communicate. But it's really good chemistry, and when we have it going on both offense and defense, we are really hard to beat. TK.
Did you have them communicate on cue for you as you were saying that? That was perfect. I mean, that was Altuve and Correa discussing the little shift here right before the inning started. It's good to see those two guys back. There's not many things in baseball that I enjoy as much as watching Carlos Correa and Jose Altuve play the game together. There you see them right there, chatting things up. Altuve always making sure everybody's aware of what's going on at the time. He and Alex Bregman had a little conversation after that last inning, possibly about that fly ball to relatively deep left and whether or not there was a possibility to tag up. So it's good. Altuve's back. He's the leader, and the team is not the same without him. 0-2 the count to Mitch Haniger.
Kind of get an idea of the impact he has on just Carlos Correa alone. The engagement, the communication between those guys. They're talking baseball the entire time out there.
1-2 the count to Mitch Haniger. Haniger struck out looking his first time up. Framber Valdez picked up an out, his first batter he faced in the big leagues, and now he gets a foul tip and a near strikeout, but Stassi unable to hold on.
Men turn away. Oh, man. Catching still not fun.
Up the middle, that'll be a base hit. Mitch Haniger against the Astros continues to do damage. A little clean single into center for a hit here in the third.
We've got some league leaders for you. They're brought to you by Houston Methodist. Astros pitching in wins and losses. That ERA under 2 when they are winning means the offense doesn't have to do that much in those wins, but in the losses has a tendency to get a little bit out of hand. Jumps up to 5.08.
Valdez bounces one up there. It's 1-0. Robinson Cano grounding out his first time up. Framber Valdez, the 24-year-old lefty, making his big league debut tonight. In on Cano, and it's 2-0.
Just a rookie saying hello to the veteran. That's all.
Kind of like that. Kind of like that. Ball sent into center field. Tony Kemp will come in. So is Marwin Gonzalez. It'll be Marwin who makes the play. And Kemp backing up just in case. So Valdez gets Cano to pop up. That's the first out of the inning. A runner on first base. There's a 1-0 pitch to Cano. And, you know, Cano's a guy from the DR, Dominican Republic, just like Framber Valdez. Separated in age by about 8 or 9 years. So you know that there's a respect level there from Framber to Cano. But when you're 1-0 and you're not afraid to come in on a guy that you probably look up to like Robbie Cano, that means he's probably not afraid to come into anybody. Kind of like that.
Me too, and I like the velocity too that we're seeing from Valdez.
Julia
One of the questions I wanted to ask Fromber before the game was about facing Cano. I figured he looked up to him, you know, as a lot of those young guys from the Dominican Republic do. And he said, I have never been able to meet him. I've never been able to shake his hand. I've watched him play. I've even seen him driving before. I look forward to meeting him, but today I want to get him out.
Good for him. Like that. And he did. Got him out. I gave Cano a few years there, actually separated by 11 years.
Yeah, I was a little impressed it was that close.
So 11 years his senior, they've never met. He's seen him driving them. 1-1 count to Segura. Outside for a ball, it's 2-1. Astros on top 1-0 on a sac fly by Carlos Correa. Mariners have 4 hits tonight. They're all singles. Punch shot. Correa goes back, but it's over his head into center field. Segura has a hit. Segura coming in second in the American League to J.D. Martinez with 150 hits, has 2 tonight. And the Mariners have runners on first and second.
Jam shot.
Five singles for Seattle. Now Valdez will face the lefty portion of this lineup. 5 of the next 6 hitters for Scott Service are lefties. Denard Span grounded out his first time up. Span is hit by that pitch. That'll load up the bases.
That was a breaking ball that got away. See the disappointment in Valdez after he let go of that pitch, knew what was going to happen. Got himself in a little bit of a jam now.
Bases filled with Mariners and Kyle Seager the batter. Seager grounded out to short his first time up. Astros will take that right now. Pitches away for a ball, 1-0. Valdez had 5 hit batters this year between Corpus Christi and Fresno. 14 starts, 8 out of the bullpen. This bullpen appears nothing new for Valdez. A little different stage, however. And the count is 1-1 after the foul ball. The 24-year-old will turn 25 in the offseason. Last year split time between Bowie's Creek and Corpus Christi. This year mostly Corpus. Moved up after his August 4th appearance and pitched twice for the Fresno Grizzlies, the 9th and the 14th. Pitched 1 week ago in a start, went 5 2/3 innings. On the ground foul, it's 1-2. Single hit batter. And now Valdez ahead of Seager, 1-2. Looking for that first major league strikeout. This would be a big spot for it. This is the inside corner. It's 2-2.
Seager leaned in as if he was going to try and get hit by that pitch. It almost came back over the plate. Pretty close.
Tried to hold up, and he does. Counts full. Here we go. Bases loaded, 3-2 count.
Ooh. Ooh.
Big pitch coming in this young lefty's career for his first major league appearance, and a swing and a miss. The ball gets away, coming in to score Haniger. Seager strikes out, he's out. But on his first major league strikeout, a run scores, and we're tied at 1.
Stassi could not handle it. Like it was cutting or sliding away just out of the mitt of Max Stassi, unfortunately. It gets far enough away to allow Haniger to score. Frustrating.
So they take the ball out of play, and we'll document it and authenticate it, but it'll be a ball that will be mixed emotions. Valdez giving up his first run on a strikeout, and that's the ball that will be saved. Here's the ball that's fouled out of play by Ryan Healy.
They did give it a pass ball.
Yeah, that's one that Max will probably feel bad about. Gets the strikeout with the bases loaded, and instead of run scores to tie the game. Also, the other 2 runners move up. Segura to third, Span to second. Well, Valdez trying to get the right hand hitting Ryan Healy. Ground ball towards third. Valdez should be through the inning. Bregman makes the throw in time, and that'll do it. 1 run scores on the pass ball. It's 1-1.
Scootin' Barbecue. Fans with a September 1st ticket to see the Astros take on the Angels will have access to the country-themed Street Festival featuring live music by the Cottonwood Crows, Jackson Street Barbecue, games, and more. Visit Astros.com/BBQ for tickets and for more information. TK?
All right, Julie, Astros fans hanging out here at Safeco Field. Beautiful stadium. The home of the Seattle Mariners. If you ever get a chance to come visit here, highly recommend it. One of my favorites. I think, Blemmer, you would agree.
Big fan.
Great city, great stadium as Tyler White leads off here in the 4th inning. Takes a pitch for a ball. It's 1-0.
What's your favorite part of this place?
The city or the stadium?
All of it.
Here's a line drive base hit into left field. Tyler White with a clean single to start the 4th inning. As the Astros had the bases loaded last inning, were able to get 1 run across, and that's it after a sac fly and a double play.
You're a big food guy, so I'm assuming it's some kind of restaurant.
Food here is great at the stadium and in the city. Some of my favorite restaurants on the road are here in Seattle. For me, just the accessibility here, being able to get from point A to point B to point C, and then the highest seats up here at Safeco Field, the very top row of the upper deck in right field. While they're not great views of the game, they're the best views of the city and the sound. So they planned that out. Like, hey, if you're not going to have the best seat for a game, might as well have the.
At least your Instagram account will look good.
So yeah, all the above. The golf here is great. I get a little flustered with all the trees sometimes, but
the forestry.
Other than that, yeah, it's been great. Enjoy coming here 3 times a year.
Yeah, I love it too.
Here's Yuli with a 1-1 count. I'm a big fan, with my mom being born and raised in Hawaii, of food with an Asian flair to it, and they have a lot of that here in Seattle. So just a lot going on. It's a great city in summer. I'm not sure I would enjoy it as much if we came here in the winter.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that this is a summer sport, visiting city.
Here's a called strike. 2-2. So now in a 1-1 game, a couple of lefties, Framber Valdez making his major league debut, and Ross Detweiler, who earlier this year was pitching an independent ball. Ground ball slowly hit towards short. Might be too slow to turn. Yuli is out at first base. D. Gordon makes a quick turn to get Yuli as the Astros hit into another double play, back-to-back innings.
AJ's asking him to take a peek at this underneath. But a good quick feed from Segura to Gordon. That's a double play. Another double play.
Well, they're going to look at it. Hold everything.
It's interesting.
Ball has to be in the back of the glove.
That's synced up. I'm not sure they're going to be able to overturn this. They're replaying it here on the big board. Wow, that might be simultaneous.
The big board looks safe.
Yuli picking up a little bit of speed over the offseason. Might pay off here, trying to keep him out of a double play. He has hit into a ton of them this year.
Yeah, this would be the 20th if it's not overturned, which is second most in the American League.
He's trying to get after Brad Ausmus's record.
Here we go. Still out. So Yuli hits into his 20th double play. AJ hoping that would not be the Astros' 119th double play of the year. Randy thinking Oakland's the biggest threat on our Twitter Tuesday. Good young team playing with a lot of confidence and swagger. Health the key for the Stros to take this division after 162 games. Oakland leading tonight 2-0 in the 6th inning. The Texas Rangers still haven't scored a run yet in that series. Here's Josh Reddick taking one up and in for ball 1.
But they have gotten a hit.
1?
Yes.
They had 1 in 7 innings last night, so I guess 1 in.
They're on pace.
Reddick goes high and deep to right field. Forget about it. Josh Reddick gives the Astros the lead once again on his 13th home run of the season.
Ball was destroyed.
It's one of Josh's best pokes of the year right there.
He can hit some left on left. Doing it with some power. Looks like a hanging slider. Nice little answer back. 102.1 miles an hour off the bat. That is recognition and extension.
Max Stassi, the batter, a little tapper at the plate. Well, Josh Reddick, we mentioned not a lot of guys have faced Detweiler since he hasn't pitched much in the last 2 years, but Reddick's a guy who was 2 for 3 with a home run against him coming in, and he now picks up another home run against the lefty. Here's Stassi. 1-1 to count.
Josh Reddick is one of those guys that plays with a lot of emotion. You feel like sometimes he gets a little upset or perturbed with things, and he decides to go out there and take it out on the baseball.
To short. And Stassi just retired, hustling down the line. But the Astros regain the lead.
Big swing from Josh Reddick. Got his own version of the stare down. Take a look back at the Astros Legend Home Run Derby, where Preston and I tried to launch into the Crawford boxes. Also, Astros players tell us how they decided to use their bat and what they do to get them game ready. Plus, Bart visits with Tony Kemp about the success he's seen this season. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded after the game, only on AT&T Sportsnet.
Josh Reddick giving the Astros a 2-1 lead with a home run. Lefty on lefty. He's been doing that all season long. Reddick, when he was traded to the Astros, questions about how much he'd play against lefties, and he has answered those questions the last 2 years. Speaking of lefty on lefty, we'll see 3 lefties for Seattle here, as Framber Valdez will face Ben Gamble, and then Chris Herman and D. Gordon. Valdez working with a lead once again. Gamble struck out looking his first time up. Gamble facing Brad Peacock, who faced 8 batters tonight, allowed 3 singles and no runs. One pitch is outside. It's 1-1. The run allowed by Valdez last inning is an unearned run. Picked up a bases loaded strikeout of Kyle Seager, but the ball got away from Max Stassi on the pass ball. Run score to tie the game. Untied by Reddick. Now a 1-1 pitch to Gamble. A little up. It's 2-1. Valdez getting the last out of the second inning, pitching the third. You'd hope he'd be settled in now. Maybe the nerves not as strong as they were for those first couple of innings. He's outside again here to Gamble. It's 3-1.
Nothing against those guys in Fresno, but if I turn around and I see Bregman, Altuve, Correa, feeling pretty good on the mound.
Make him hit it. He does. Pops one up left field. Marwin is there, and Gamble retired for the first out of the 4th. If you would have told A.J. Hinch just a couple of nights ago, chilling out after a little flight up here from Oakland and a victory, that after 125 games his team would be tied for first, and in that game he would have Framber Valdez pitching against Ross Detweiler in one of the bigger games of the season. It just wouldn't have registered. It just
New.
It would not have made sense at the time. I mean, they could have had this plan in motion as early as Sunday, but still, you wouldn't think that with less than 6 weeks to go and the Astros tied for first with Seattle 3.5 back, that it would be between a guy making his big league debut and a guy who was an independent ball earlier this year. Good pitching right there.
Yeah, Valdez showing a good breaking ball. Only one of them's really gotten away from him.
Ooh, he made Chris Herman look bad there. 3-pitch strikeout. And Valdez picks up his second strikeout. Save that one.
Yeah, I put that on the highlight reel when you go back and watch the video after this game. I like it.
I also meant save that baseball too, because that's the real strikeout
legit,
you want.
Legit strikeout.
You've got the strikeout, which is always going to be his first, but that scored a run. Now you've got the strikeout that was solid and nothing happened. Here's D. Gordon.
That'd be a heck of a story to tell. My first strikeout, I gave up a run.
It's a solid strike.
Wait, what?
How do you have that frame ball and all that cost you a run?
Yeah, grab me a couple of Presidentes. I've got a story to tell.
Down and away, it's 1-1. On both starters, A.J. Hinch knew, and then Scott Service, once Mike Leake was scratched, knew. Both starters were not really going to be the pitchers that threw the most innings tonight.
Yeah.
It was going to be the second guy out of the bullpen, or the first guy out of the bullpen, the second guy in the game. This one in on D. Gordon, and that catches him. And that'll be a hit batter. Second one by Valdez. He's hit a couple of lefties, Denard Span, and now D. Gordon with 2 outs.
Those pitches that end up hitting the hitters really hasn't finished them. D. Gordon feeling this one. Like a slider that didn't slide.
That almost hit the bat.
Like it hit the bat. Look go between his hands.
That's what I just thought I saw. But no challenge from the Astros because they've already challenged and lost.
It was wacky.
Here's Mitch Haniger. D. Gordon will have to be watched at first. We may learn how good Valdez's pickoff move is as he sends a breaking ball in there for a strike. Haniger singled, scored the game's only run, crossing the plate on that pass ball. Game's only run for Seattle, that is, as they're down 2-1.
GMC defensive rankings with D. Gordon at first base. Talk a little bit about Max Stassi in the last 13 games. Only 7 attempts against him. He's thrown out 3 of them. Good for a 43%. That is the pickoff sign.
So we will see the move right here. Nope. There he goes, way upstairs, and D. Gordon got a good jump.
That was interesting. Usually that thumb, when it pops out of the hand, here we go. This conversation is going to be about signs at second base, but it also might be, hey, if you make a fist and the thumb pops out for the sign, that usually universally means pickoff, especially with a runner at first base. Valdez came home and wasn't one of the better exchanges we've seen for Max Stassi, but a predominant base stealer in this league is D. Gordon. 29 steals now. But there it is. There's that fist, and watch the thumb pop out. That usually means pickoff.
I was with you on that.
Because you really didn't see Max set up until Valdez started to come towards home plate.
Fromber was holding for a while and then decided to deliver home. Max went out and said, hey, don't forget the pickoff next time. Here's a 1-2 count to Haniger with a runner now at second. And a called third strike. Valdez picks up a big strikeout as he strikes out 2 in the inning.
Not easy to do against Mitch Haniger. Froze him.
Rooms to go. Get big savings during the Labor Day sale. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Nissan, innovation that excites. Fifth inning baseball from Safeco Field in Seattle. Astros leading 2-1. Tony Kemp will lead things off. Last time Tony Kemp led off in the third inning, the Astros would load the bases with nobody out. Only got one run out of that, but see what happens here this time around as Detweiler facing Kemp. This was the first batter he faced in the third inning. Tony continues to do well in that number 9 spot. Adding 333 overall, hitting 9th and a 920 OPS in that 9 spot. That's the best in baseball in both categories. 1-0 pitch as Detweiler delivers. A swing and a miss by Kemp. It's 1-1. Ross Detweiler back in Major League Baseball for the first time since pitching in 2016. And foul out of play. He's appeared in 16 games that year with the Indians and the A's. Starter for the Indians for 7 of the 9 games and 7 appearances out of the Indians bullpen that year. Kemp inside out towards left, coming on Span. He'll play it on a hop. Tony Kemp on base yet again. Get that guy down in the count. He will battle you. Leadoff hit here in the 5th.
That was a peach. Keep the hands in, fight it off the other way, and Denard Span is playing shallow but perfectly placed in front of him.
Kemp continues to turn the lineup over in that 9 spot, and now here's Alex Bregman. Bregman with a single his last time up is 1 for 2. His 41 straight games reaching base on the road is just 2 shy of both Jose Altuve and Jeff Bagwell for the 2nd longest streak in Astros history. Those 2 guys had 43 straight games, so on this road trip Bregman has a chance to eclipse both of those marks. Bagwell has the overall record at 51. Still ways to go for that for Bregman, but he has been a guy who continues to get on base. 79 of 81 games overall since mid-May. On the ground towards third. Seager to D. Gordon for 1, and Bregman is out at first base. Astros hit into their 3rd double play in the last 3 innings.
I think we should have put the double play ball on the Chevy Stropole. Man. You got to give the Astros a lot of credit. They do create a lot of base runners and opportunities on the base paths, but we have seen this season that ground ball double play really come back to haunt them and be a buzzkill in some situations.
Swing and a miss. Altuve grounded out his first time up, drew a walk his last time. I mean, at this point, if you watch Astros baseball, you know they're the league leaders in that category. But they're up to 120 now. Next closest team at 105. Altuve grounds out to end the inning, a leadoff hit, but then double play and a ground out.
Minnesota, Fromber Valdez making his big league debut. He's supposed to start in Fresno, but with this being a bullpen day, the Astros needed an extra arm that can go multiple innings out of that bullpen. And so far, it's been Valdez. It's looked pretty good. 2 1/3 innings pitched so far, 2 hits, 1 run given up. It was unearned, 3 strikeouts. He's done so with 39 pitches. And he's also thrown 24 fastballs, 15 curveballs in those 39 pitches.
Starts off Robinson Cano, the ground ball deep in the hole. Carlos Correa makes the play for out number 1. Carlos Correa getting the ground ball to the backhand side, and Cano retired.
It's a nice play by Carlos. Plant that foot, unleash a good throw. Ball's hit pretty good too.
Certain infielders you love when they get to show off their arm, and he is definitely one of them.
That's the thing. He didn't have to throw it on the run, plant that right foot. He knows if he plants that right foot and gets off a good throw, nobody can beat the velocity.
We saw perhaps one of his best throws of his career go for naught in a play that was a bit controversial on this road trip in Oakland. It looked like Correa may have thrown out a runner at home plate to keep the Astros in front of the A's. Instead, it was a tie game, and the A's would walk it off on Friday night. Laureano is a pinch runner coming around to score on a double by Nick Martini. Ooh.
He's trying to let it go.
Good depth with that breaking ball from Valdez we've seen tonight. Segura 2 for 2, a single against Peacock in the first, single against Valdez in the third. Stays alive here. Segura up to 152 hits on the year. He trailed JD Martinez by 1 hit coming into today's play in the American League. In the air, shallow center, coming on Kemp. Tony will get there as he makes the catch for out number 2. Julia.
Join the Astros at Minute Maid Park Saturday, September 1st as they take on the Angels. 10,000 fans in attendance will receive an Alex Bregman walk-off win bobblehead presented by Nolan Ryan B. For more information and tickets, visit astros.com/promotions.
Be a popular item, Alex Bregman. 2 outs, base is empty. Here's Denard Span. And a called strike. It's 0-1. Span was hit by a pitch his last time up. He's also grounded out. So far, 3 innings of work for Valdez. 2 hits, 2 hit batters, and 3 strikeouts. Ground ball towards first. Yuli the backhand play. Fromber has to cover in time to get Span. First 1, 2, 3 inning for Valdez. We head to the 6th.
strikeouts, and I'm a hitter. Or used to be kind of a hitter. With the 16 strikeouts, watching that game, that was just complete dominance.
Couldn't go wrong with any of those choices. George gets the win tonight as Carlos Correa leads things off. Broken bat, and it's through the middle, but D. Gordon, a jump throw. Carlos safe. Good attempt by D. Athletic infielder, couldn't quite make the play.
Yeah, with that effort, it kind of forced Carlos to sprint down that line. He thought he might have snuck one past there, but good range by D. Gordon, just not enough on that throw. Smell that hit.
Job by Carlos with that quick first step out of the box, hustling all the way on a ball that looked like it might get through the middle. Here's Marwin. Marwin has popped up and grounded into a double play. Astros have had the leadoff runner on in each of the last 4 innings. And called strike. Marwin with 3 hits last night. Astros getting contributions from throughout the lineup tonight. Carlos now with 2 hits and a sac fly. Good to see him with some productive at bats. Into left field. That'll be down for a base hit. Span cuts it off. Carlos going to third. They won't even try to get him. Carlos Correa going first to third on the base hit by Marwin.
Remember the conversation after that 1 inning on defense that we saw Altuve and Correa having? I think that might have influenced the decision of Carlos Correa to test Denard Span. Good swing by Marwin. He's been great last couple of weeks on both sides of the plate. But with Span ranging far to his left and having to throw back across his body, Carlos Correa decided to test it, made it easy. But you got to talk yourself through the game and anticipate situations, and that's exactly what happened.
Astros had a situation earlier where they tagged up and scored a run on a fly ball to Span, but did not get a tag from Bregman at second. Altuve, Bregman, and then Correa joining the conversation after that inning. And very well could have been talking about possibly taking advantage if that opportunity arises again. Tyler White with a count of 1-0 has struck out and singled. Astros putting more runners on against Detweiler. And a close one, but a ball is 2-0. Detweiler has thrown 50 pitches. That one just off the edge. Nice call by Mike Winters. Astros up to 7 hits tonight. We're in the 6th inning. Last night they had 5 for the whole game. In fact, they didn't have a hit after the 3rd inning last night. And they didn't have a hit from their 4 through 9 hitters at all. One big swing, no contact. It's 2-1.
I like it. 2-0. Let it eat. Give it a shot. Maybe you launch one out there, or you get a deep enough fly ball to score Carlos Correa. Head pulled off just a little bit, but I like the intention.
Yeah, just watching White this year with his at-bats, that seems like a swing we can see in a hitter's count, but we might not see it that dramatic when he gets to 2 strikes. It seems like he goes into a little more battle mode at that point.
Yep. We've also seen him go the other way in certain situations too, which is kind of nice. They do play that shift against him.
Tyler, since his recall back to this team on July 29th, is batting .316 in 17 games. OPS during that stretch over 1,000. Good spot for him here, 3-1. Fouls this one away, and the count's full. Carlos Correa on third, Marwin Gonzalez on first. 32-year-old Ross Detweiler in his return to the big leagues. Swing and a miss. He gets Tyler. Changed him up there for the strikeout and picks up the first out of the sixth.
Definitely pulled the string on him. And the big swing from Tyler White gets the strikeout.
I'll bring up Yuli. Yuli is fly to left and hit into a double play. Ground ball up the middle, base hit, Yuli Gurriel. Carlos Correa scores, Astros lead 3-1. Yuli with RBI number 62 on the year.
Was I the only one that had heart palpitations when the ball hit the ground?
You were not the only one.
Man. In my head, I'm saying don't hit the ball on the ground, and it's an elevated fastball that he hits on the ground, but luckily had enough of a seeing eye ability to get it through up the middle.
You just figure the law of averages at some point are going to turn.
You would hope, if that's true, that they're going to rattle off about 15 hits right here.
Or just not hit into a double play for about a week.
Oh.
Here's Josh Reddick. He homered against Detweiler his last time. It was his second home run against Ross of his career.
Yeah, we're going to StatCast it for you because it was hit so well. 390 feet into those right field bleachers. Almost 102 miles an hour off the bat.
Reddick goes the other way, slicing down the line, and this ball is foul. Edgar Martinez, a nice catch in the crowd.
Nice. Still got it.
May have warned a little.
Played more defense right there than he did the last like 7 or 8 years of his career.
Edgar, one of the better guys in the game. We'll appreciate that.
One of the more amazing right-handed hitters, too.
Unbelievable. Bat to ball skills up there amongst the best. Now Reddick down 0-2. Towards the middle. Shortstop Segura takes it, and they turn a double play. 4th consecutive inning. The Astros have hit into a double play, but they now lead 3-1. A double play Tuesdays. This offer includes 2 View Deck 2 tickets for only $20 at any Tuesday home game. Visit astros.com/value or the Minute Maid Park box office for more information. I had to look it up in the break. Most double plays the Astros have ever hit into in one season. 154.
Oh,
They're at 121 right now with 4 tonight.
it's a lot of season left.
A lot of baseball left. Here's Kyle Seager with the Astros leading 3-1 in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Seager has grounded out and struck out, but on his strikeout, which was the first ever for Framber Valdez in the major leagues, a run scored on the pass ball. Valdez with his first 1-2-3 inning last inning. And he has retired 8 of the last 9 batters he faced, beginning with that strikeout of Seager. Couple of singles, couple of hit batters for Framber in his big league debut. I think if AJ can get him through 6, he will pat him on the back and say, thank you very much.
Yeah. Framber will have a new friend in AJ Hinch.
Ooh.
If he gets through that.
Things are not good for the Astros in terms of scoreboard watching tonight as Valdez misses with the breaking ball. It's 2-1.
I think Kyle Seager will be surprised at where that ball was actually caught.
Near the plate.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? You got these guys bailing pretty good. Kind of gives you an idea of the break. It was a terrible location to start with, but enough spin to get it back close enough to where Max Stassi didn't have to move that much.
Ground ball right side. Yuli backs up. He'll use his pitcher covering, and Framber is there. Nicely done for the first out of the 6th inning. Kid from the Dominican looking good tonight in a big game for the Astros. Joe Smith starting to warm up. But after Ryan Healy, there's 3 more lefties due up. So you've got to think Smith is just getting loose for the top of the order with Mitch Haniger at the top, and then Gene Segura batting 3rd after Robinson Cano. So I would think Framber has at least through this inning. Here's Healy, who's 1 for 2 with a single. Assuming he doesn't face Haniger in this inning. There's a nice breaking ball. Not getting the call there from Mike Winters. It's 1-0. Thought that one had a chance to be a strike.
Tell you what, stay with it. You can't give up on that breaking ball. It's coming back.
There's one that's at the knees for a strike. It's 1-1. We'll find out after the game, as Julie always does a great job with the post-game interviews, to see if there were nerves for Valdez. If there were, he quickly shook them, because he came on to a 2-on-2-out situation and got a fly ball out. And while he's hit a couple of batters tonight, he's looked pretty confident out there on the mound for the most part.
No, he's gotten in a little bit of a rhythm here, and that's good to see.
Originally signed by the Astros in 2015 as a 21-year-old. As a Campo, who travels with the team now, one of the scouts that signed him. Pitches outside for a ball. It's 2-2.
And I would say he's exceeded expectations considering the situation he's come into. This isn't just a game. This is, you're tied for the American League West, atop of it, and you're facing the team that's trying to battle their way back into the top of it in their ballpark.
Oh, and right now Oakland's winning 6-0. So you're not only pitching in that scenario, you're pitching to keep your team in first, it looks like. Because Texas can't do anything against Oakland pitching so far in that series. They had 3 hits last night, 1 against the starter.
Yeah, they're holding on to that 1 hit right now.
They have 1 hit tonight. Here's a ball that he reaches out and grounds to short. Healy is out on the ground ball to Carlos Correa. That's now 10 out of 11 sent down by Valdez.
And that curveball proving to be potent against both left-handed hitters and right-handed, getting the rollover on some of those curveballs. Got to give a little credit to Max Stassi too, working with the young man.
Teaching him about the pickoff sign.
Yeah, every day's a learning experience in the big leagues.
Here's Ben Gamble, strikeout and a fly out. And that one's close, but a ball is 1-0. Well, so far, the line for Valdez is 4 innings. 2 hits, 2 hit batters, some close pitches. That one's a strike. It's 1-1. 2 hits, 2 hit batters in 4 innings of work right now. The out in the second plus 2 here in the 6th. 1 run, it was unearned. So far, it has been an impressive showing. And the 24-year-old misses high here to Gamble. It's 2-1. Gamble struck out looking and flied out to left.
In between innings, Sparky came over and started yelling at me about his curveball. He's very impressed with that curveball from Valdez.
Like the depth. This one sliced the other way, and look out. Ooh, nice catch made over there on that line drive. It's 2-2.
With that last pitch, 94 miles an hour. There's still plenty of velocity in that arm.
That fan right there with the Griffey jersey caught a bullet foul ball. Some good plays been made in this series.
There have been.
See if he drops that hook on him here. 2-2. There it is. He missed inside. It's 3-2. And Stassi encouraging him, saying just get on top of it a little more.
Yeah, I think you could all see that too. He kind of slowed up on it a little bit. Go ahead and throw it.
What will Max call here? We'll watch along with you. Well, maybe shook from the fastball to the curveball. And he gets a check swing and no swing. That is ball 4. Valdez is walking off the mound. He thinks the inning's over. But that is a no swing.
I think Stassi is stunned. Wow. Definitely could have rung him up on that one.
Gamble ends up drawing the walk. Well, that tells you a little something about Fromber, too.
Yep.
3-2 count. Max wanted the fastball. He has a lot of confidence in that curveball to be able to throw it in 3-2. There's a guy who's currently on the DL for the Astros who likes a 3-2 curveball a little bit. Lance McCullers Jr. Now Fromber will face Chris Herman. He made Herman look bad last time. Herman struck out on 3 pitches. The last one was a breaking ball in the dirt. And he went down and tried to golf and ended up striking out. First walk issued by Fromber. He has hit a couple of batters. Foul the other way. It's 0-2.
I'd like to see him snap one off right here.
After that last at bat?
Yep. Big 0-2. Just go 1-2-3 on Herman. Get out of this inning.
I'm thinking you can even double up 0-2 and 1-2. See if Stassi throws the 2 down. There we go.
Wants him to bury it.
Swing and a miss. Fromber. Quite a job for the young man making his major league debut. He is at 4 1/3 innings, no earned runs. Carlos Correa in his 10th game back off the DL, and tonight's been a good one.
Couple of base hits, a sac fly right there, just missing an opportunity for a grand slam, but he's also playing some good defense. Nice backhand and arm strength to get Robinson Cano. But can you imagine getting Altuve back in the lineup and then all of a sudden having Correa get hot? It would be a beautiful thing. He brings so much to the table. One of the true five-tool guys, able to sprint into third base.
Yeah, good job getting to third, because that allowed him to score the run as Yuli would bounce one through the middle. Carlos running the base as well, playing solid D. 2 for 2 night with a sacrifice fly in between, as Max Stassi will face Ross Detweiler here to start the 7th inning. Detweiler pitching into the 5th inning of his outing out of the bullpen. Stassi takes another one down low for a ball. It's 2-0. Astros have stopped any warming up in the bullpen, so we may see Valdez at least begin the next inning, as D. Gordon will lead things off.
Sit back and enjoy the show.
It's been fun to watch him tonight. Stassi fouls one down the line. Long run for Healy, trying to find it, and he can't quite get there. Tough play for Healy. It's 2-1. Yeah, no handshakes, no pat on the backs. It's just, we're going to send you back out, it looks like, for at least one batter in the next inning.
Yeah, just leave him and his beautiful mohawk alone.
That looks pretty good.
Very good. It's gotten better with each inning.
It's 2-2. Stassi and then Tony Kemp back to the top of the order after that for Alex Bregman. And a called third strike. Detweiler picking up his 2nd strikeout. Gets the first out of the 7th. Jason Bradford was optioned out earlier before the game, and Detweiler was called up from their AAA team in Tacoma. Here's Tony Kemp. Kemp's been on base twice tonight from that 9 spot. He has scored a run. He has also singled after drawing a walk his first time up. Both times facing Detweiler, Kemp got down in the count and still found a way to get on base. This time it's inside on Tony. It's 1-1. In the left field, Span is there, and he will put that one away for out number 2. No action in the Seattle bullpen right now. They're going to let Detweiler go here.
Both managers kind of lucking out having their middle guys go this long, especially Scott Service. His bullpen does not have a lot of people down there, so Detweiler stepping up in a big way.
Yeah, they were in 9-1-1 mode before the game, because they had not only to make a roster move once Mike Leake got scratched from his start, but they had to release a guy from his 40-man roster, Nick Vinci, to make a spot on the 40-man for this for Ross Detweiler, in addition to sending out Jason Bradford. But they needed, they couldn't have probably filled up with that bullpen 9 innings worth without Detweiler. One pitch is inside for a ball. It's 1-1.
I would imagine we probably could have put Romine out there in that bullpen list for Scott Service. He's got a couple innings out of that bullpen as a position player. But I'm with you. If it wasn't for Detweiler, I was seriously wondering what they were going to be able to do to try and scratch some innings out of those guys, because Colome and Diaz are not multiple inning guys.
Nope. Colome occasionally, but he's been pitching a lot lately. But you're right. There's not that guy that's going to soak up 3 innings out of that pen.
Yeah.
And they did not have any off days in between their series prior to this against the Dodgers, when their bullpen got taxed, and this series. So you can't really go to a starter on short rest. It would have been a problem for Scott Service. 3-1 pitches popped high in the air. Detweiler gets all 3 batters this inning for the first time since coming in out of the bullpen. But it's still 3-1 in favor of the Astros. 7th inning stretch time, and we're going to send it to Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton in our Rooms to Go lounge.
sports for you. We love the 80s. Feeling all right? Don't get bagged. Tweet us your best guess at ATT Sportsnet SW. We'll give you a little time to reveal the answer a little bit later. TK.
All right, Julia. Guess who's back out for the 7th inning? Bottom of the 7th we go. Astros leading 3-1. The man of the night on the bump. 24-year-old Framber Valdez back for more. Might just face one hitter in this inning.
Yep, not a bad idea. D. Gordon, a left-handed hitter. Haniger, right-handed hitter on deck.
And he's hit again. Valdez hit Gordon last time. He hits him again. Joe Smith had been warming up with Mitch Haniger due up next. AJ is going to go get Framber Valdez. He hit 3 batters tonight. He walked 1 batter. But he also pitched very well. To this point, he's allowed 1 run. It was unearned.
Not how you want to see him exit the game. Pitched extremely well. Just a curveball that got away from him.
Astros fans that are here giving him a nice hand on his way to the dugout. Quite a major league debut for Framber Valdez.
Are now on sale. Fans who purchase season tickets can enjoy many season ticket holder benefits, including guaranteed 2018 postseason priority access. For more information, visit astros.com/season tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Valdez got a lot of love from the dugout after his appearance as he leaves with a runner on and nobody out in the 7th inning, and Joe Smith will face the top of the lineup.
Good time for a ground ball from Joe Smith and that 3/4 arm delivery with the fastball slider combination. That whip number is beautiful at under 1.
Facing Mitch Haniger here. And Haniger takes the breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-1. Tony Sipp warming up in the Astros bullpen with all these lefties in the lineup. He can be a big factor in this series. And then Roberto Osuna also warming up. He just joined Sipp on the mound. The pickoff at first, and out will be D. Gordon. He was frozen by Joe Smith. It was actually a little bit of a wide throw, and Yuli put the tag on him.
That was incredible. Maybe a little bit of a collegiate Bach move, but watch the front knee. See how both knees bend? He got away with one.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is going to be a little bit of a bend in the knee when the pitcher comes to first base, but not that drastic to where it completely buckles and fools a base runner.
That could have gone against the Astros for sure. Instead,
Salty veteran move.
Mariners won a game here against the Dodgers on a balk. Dylan Floro, a little knee bend to score the game-winning run against the Dodgers on Saturday night. 2-1 the count. to Haniger. So Smith gets D. Gordon off the bases. Gordon was heading towards second, so that may go down as a caught stealing. If so, it'll be the 10th one of the year. Fouled out of play. It's 2-2. Haniger, a hit tonight, 2 hits last night. Well, with that pickoff, the book is closed on Framber Valdez. And other than the hit by pitch category, he will be thrilled with his first major league outing. 4 1/3 innings of 2-hit, 1-run baseball. It was unearned. Did walk 1, he hit 3. He struck out 4.
It's a great outing. Great debut.
Swing and a miss. The slider gets Mitch Haniger for out number 2.
Gosh, Joe Smith creates such a funky angle. It almost looks as if the trajectory of that pitch is going up and away from the right-handed hitter. That's why you kind of saw that late swing from Haniger trying to fight it.
Now Smith will face Robbie Cano. Cano 4 for 11 in his career against Joe with 3 doubles. And he starts him off with a strike. Well, Tony Sipp has stopped warming up. I think the plan was if a runner was on base and Cano was batting, possibly you would see the lefty. But now that the bases are cleared, to let Joe Smith attack, and it's 0-2. A pickoff, a strikeout, and now Joe ahead of Cano, 0-2. Joe Smith was a candidate to be the opening pitcher tonight.
I told him to go in and petition for it.
Second most appearances amongst active pitchers. There's a ball lined into right field for a base hit. Getting over will be Reddick. And he'll get it back in. Robbie Cano with a single with 2 outs.
And that's part of the reason I petitioned for it, so he can get that start. Say he started a big league game. He's been around for a while.
We saw a guy tonight for the Mariners who had made 335 appearances without a start. Joe is second of active pitchers, and Joaquin Benoit hasn't pitched this year, so he could be third if you count Benoit, but second to just Fernando Rodney. Here's Gene Segura, and he takes a called strike.
It's pretty generous.
Stassi, a nice job bringing that for a good view for Mike Winters. And now Segura down to the count, 0-2. This is Joe Smith's 740th career appearance.
Man,
No starts. A little too far out for Segura to be tempted. It's 1-2. 2 hits for Segura tonight. He and JD Martinez now tied for the American League lead. JD had 1 hit tonight in the Red Sox 6-3 loss to Cleveland. Chop towards third. Bregman gloves it on one big hop, and Joe Smith gets through the 7th. We head to the 8th. Astros leading 3-1.
More ways to watch the Astros than ever before. Download the AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or go to AT&TSportsnet.com to stream from your computer. Log in with your cable account information and you're all set. Available to customers whose TV subscription includes AT&T Sportsnet. Subject to blackouts and territorial restrictions.
To the 8th inning we go. Ross Detweiler's still out there. He's pitched 5 innings so far in relief of Nick Vincent, who made his first major league start. And he'll face Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, and Marwin Gonzalez. Altuve in his return to the big leagues after being on the DL and one rehab assignment for the Fresno Grizzlies. 0 for 2 tonight. He has drawn a walk. And there's a line drive speared by D. Gordon. Altuve hits it hard, but at the second baseman for out number 1.
Line drive, nothing to show for it. But a good swing from Jose Altuve, fresh off the DL.
Always good to see George in dance mode in the dugout. Rather see him in the field, but entertaining nonetheless. Here's Carlos Correa. He's having a nice night. A couple of hits, sac fly. Run scored and an RBI. The Astros batting for the 8th time tonight. In the 3 innings, the first, the second, and the 7th, where they've had 2 outs and nobody on. Here's a ball into right field. Carlos, a 3-hit night. He thought about first, or he thought about second. He's going to hold on at first with a single the other way. Gamble did a good job getting to that ball, but how about Carlos? 3 for 3 with a sac fly.
If I take this swing, there's body parts all over the place, but he's good enough to inside out it down that right field line for a knock. Kind of hoping for Gamble to bobble that ball down the line towards the stands.
Carlos coming into tonight was 3 for 32 since coming off the DL, and tonight he's 3 for 3. So game number 10 may be the one that gets Carlos Correa going, his 10th game since coming off the DL. Here's Marwin. Marwin has 4 hits in this series, including 1 tonight. For the first time since Ross Detweiler took over in the 3rd inning, the Mariners do have their bullpen action going for the first time since Detweiler. We could have another double play. That is the 5th one the Astros have hit into. Every inning they haven't had 2 outs and nobody on. They've hit into a double play.
Gurriel being back at first base, laying out early to pick up Brad Peacock, and then helps out Framber Valdez who's on coverage, and a miraculous ground ball with a runner at first base that made it into center field for a base hit and an RBI for Yuli, who on the season is very good with runners in scoring position.
3-1 game. Astros lead. We head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Valdez for 4 1/3. Joe Smith got 2 outs in the 7th, and now in the 8th it's Roberto Osuna.
20 games between Toronto and Houston. He has 9 saves and 10 opportunities. 2.66 ERA and 16 strikeouts in 20 1/3 innings pitched.
He'll face Denard Span, Kyle Seager, and Ryan Healy. Span fouls one out of play.
Roberto Osuna is a fastball, cutter, slider, changeup guy, averaging 95 miles an hour on the fastball this season.
Foul out of play. It's 0-2. Astros hitting into a double play to end the top half of the 8th inning. That's now 5 they've hit into.
What'd you say the record was?
They have tied it.
Wait, what?
They have tied
in a game.
The franchise record for most grounding into double plays in a game.
Oh, my bad.
You have to go all the way back, Blummer, to before we were even around, back to 1962, Colt 45s.
Wow, setting the standard high early.
Early. In their very first season, on July 13th, a game against the Pirates on the road, they hit into 5 double plays. That record stood for over 56 years until tonight.
That's impressive. And the overall major league record for a team is 154?
Oh, no. That was the Astros record.
Astros record for a season is 154. Okay.
Yeah, first season. So the Colt 45s. This was an.
Oh,
hey.
Throw back to that great double play team.
What a uni.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore. It is a beautiful uniform. Nice little tribute.
1-2 the count on Span. And there's a line drive into center. Kemp coming on. He'll have to play it on a hop. Leadoff base hit for Denard Span in the 8th inning. Span reaches for the second time. He was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd, and that'll bring up Kyle Seager. A.J. Hinch earlier today on a radio show mentioning that he's going to try and find Hector Rondon some different spots, whether it's the 7th or 8th inning, depending on the matchups. And then followed up with the fact that Osuna could be getting the ball more in the 9th inning than we have seen to this point, but he gets the ball in the 8th inning tonight. Not sure if AJ has just the 8th in mind for Osuna, if he's thinking maybe a 6-out potential save opportunity. We'll see how it plays out. But Osuna ahead of Seager 0-1. Seager has grounded out twice and struck out. Astros lead 3-1. Out hitting the Mariners 9-7. But they have also hit into a franchise record tying 5 double plays tonight. Upstairs it's 1-1. Every inning they've had a runner on base with less than 2 outs. They've hit into a double play. How about a return of the favor here?
That would be awfully nice.
Two and one. Osuna missing upstairs with a couple of pitches.
Maybe a slider to get him to roll over into this shift played against him.
Seager. Just a long strike. It's 2-2.
Seager got quick on that cut fastball, thankfully.
Brad Peacock started this game. He got 5 outs. Did not allow a run. Allowed 3 hits. Framber Valdez 4 1/3 innings of no earned run baseball. Did allow 1 unearned run. Swing and a miss. Osuna getting Seager. Strikeout number 1.
Good changeup. Pulled the string on him.
Julia.
We have to name that Astro. This is presented to you by Nissan. We gave you 3 clues earlier. The loving the 80s, feeling all right, don't get bagged. Larry Anderson is the answer today. Jeff Bagwell trade. Thanks for all of the responses and guesses, TK.
Feeling with the PH, like the clue.
Yep.
L.A. Larry Anderson. One of the best guys around. 1 out, 1 on. Here's Ryan Healy. Healy swings and fouls 1 back. Well, here's a double play candidate. Mentioned that Yuli's hit into 20 double plays this year. Also high on the list of most double plays is this guy with 17. He is 1 for 3 tonight. 2 outs have been ground outs. 1 to Bregman, 1 to Correa. And Osuna ahead 0-2.
Healy feels like he should have hammered that pitch, and I might agree. A little hanging slider out over the plate.
Sent the other way, foul, still 0-2. Astros scored first in the 3rd inning. They had the bases loaded, nobody out. Carlos Correa with a sac fly before a double play ended that inning. The unearned run scored in the bottom half of that inning when the Mariners had the bases loaded, and a pass ball on a strikeout tied the game at 1. Josh Reddick solo home run in the 4th made it 2-1. And then Yuli added that base hit up the middle that you saw earlier in this inning to make it 3-1. That's where we stand now. Roberto Osuna trying to keep this game right where it is. 1-2 the count to Healy. A's game is over tonight. Oakland winning 6-0. They limited the Rangers to just 2 hits tonight after 3 hits last night. So they've outscored Texas 15-0 in that series and allowed a total of 5 hits. Rangers not helping out their cross-state rivals at all in that series so far. 2-2 pitch and another foul.
Davis is crushing baseballs. It's up to 102 RBIs on the season now.
38th home run tonight.
Since July 22nd, he's hit 17 home runs. 5 more than the next closest guy. Wow. And as it stands with them winning that ball game, you know what the standings say now, right?
Yeah, right now. Right now. Astros have to win to stay tied for first. Long battle between Osuna and Healy. It's 2-2. And the battle will continue.
A lot of fastballs on the outside corner. Healy unable to catch up to it to keep it in fair territory. And there are your current AL West standings.
A's continue to play incredible baseball for the last 55 games or so. Nobody's been better, including the Red Sox. Red Sox have lost 3 in a row. 2-2 pitch. Just missed. Osuna wanted it. 3-2.
Tried to come down and in. It was down below the zone, unfortunately. Last 10 games, just a brief sample size. The A's are 8-2. The Astros 2-8.
Hard hit past Bregman into left field. Heading to third will be Span. Healy with a base hit. Tying runs on board with 1 out. Ball gets loose, but no further advancement.
That was a screamer down to Alex Bregman. Went to the off speed at 91 miles an hour. Alex playing it off the side. It gets past him.
Healy leaving for a pinch runner. Andrew Romine running, and Ben Gamel will hit. Also, Nelson Cruz has grabbed the bat, and he's on deck to hit for Chris Herman. First and third, 1 out. Gamel takes a strike. Gamel just called up from AAA Tacoma before the game last night. 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. Last night he went 2 for 4 with a couple of runs scored. On the ground, past Healy into right field, base hit. Now a 3-2 game. The tying run goes to third as Romine, the pinch runner, goes first to third on that ground ball base hit.
Not hit hard, just well placed with Yuli in holding the runner on. Couldn't create an angle to try and get that for at least 1 out. And once it gets over his head, it's a base hit to right.
That'll bring up Nelson Cruz as a pinch hitter for Chris Herman. Cruz not in the original lineup. You can see in their head-to-head matchups, Osuna has won them. Cruz with a tying run on third base and the go-ahead run on first with 1 out in the 8th. Nelson 30 home runs, 78 runs batted in. This is the fastball, 0-1.
Cruz is a double play candidate. Get the ball on the ground in the infield. Good chance you turn it. But that is not in the thought process of Nelson Cruz right now. He is looking for something to elevate and drive. Question is, will Gamel move to get out of double play possibilities?
0-2 the count.
Good job of getting on top of that. Creating the depth to it to get the swing over the top. I think even Nelson Cruz was impressed with that one.
.24 pitches in this inning. If AJ had any entertaining thoughts about a 2-inning save. It's probably gone away with this pitch count in this inning. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Osuna gets Cruz. Big out there for out number 2. Keeping the tying run at third base.
It's tough to get used to some of the pitches because I believe that's the slider. It looked like coming out of the hand of Osuna, but that is a pretty tremendous sharp break down out of the zone.
Nobody warming up in the bullpen. This is just A.J. Hinch talking about the scenario here with first and third and 2 outs and D. Gordon the batter.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is you do have the first and third, but you've got a guy at the plate who is pretty unpredictable to say the least. Kind of a slashing type hitter, but with a lot of speed. And I'll be curious to see if Gamble stays at first or how long he stays at first, maybe trying to steal second base. Stassi coming out to give signs with runners at first and third, because that'll be the question too. Do they even offer a throw down to second base?
Gamble 6 of 9 in the stolen base department. D. Gordon's been hit twice. He's flied out. Swings the first pitch and fouls one back.
This is where I hated being the third baseman against these guys who could run in a situation where you want to try and cover as much ground as you can. Alex Bregman has to play in against that bunt just in case. And he's on that line, so he's pretty limited to pretty much whatever's in front of him and just maybe 2 steps to his left.
Grounded foul, and now Osuna ahead 0-2.
And using the aggressiveness of D. Gordon to get ahead 0-2. D. Gordon swings a lot, which means he chases a lot. Make a smart pitch here in an 0-2 count.
He got him. 95-mile-an-hour fastball up, and Gordon strikes out to end the inning. Mariners score 1. Astros lead 3-2.
Icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today.
We go to the 9th in a tight one. Last night was 4-4 headed to the bottom half of the 8th. Tonight it's 3-2 heading to the 9th. Both teams with 9 hits. And the Astros will face a new pitcher after seeing Ross Detweiler for 6 innings. The 9th inning will go to Zach Duke.
It's nice to see Zach Duke out there in the 9th inning for the Astros rather than Edwin Diaz. With the left-hander with 42 strikeouts and 41 2/3 innings pitched. veteran, recreating his delivery, getting down to that three-quarter arm slot. Fastball, slider, changeup.
Duke will face Tyler White, Yuli Gurriel, Josh Reddick. Andrew Romine, who came on as a pinch runner, stays in the game, and he is at first base. Ryan Healy out of the game, and Mike Zunino now behind the plate. Chris Herman was pinch hit for in that inning as well. White 1 for 3 tonight. A couple of strikeouts and a single. Astros would love to tack on another run or two here. Hector Rondon warming up in the bullpen. Looks like Rondon may be the guy in the 9th inning. There's a ball hooked down the line in left field. That's a fair ball headed towards the wall. Tyler White heads to second. He's a leadoff runner here in the 9th inning.
It's a nice start. Astros picking up runs in the 9th would be a beautiful thing for Hector Rondon, who's getting loose out there. Great job by Tyler White raking that into the left field corner.
I'll bring up Yuli Gurriel. Yuli driving in the 3rd run of the game. Right now, that's the difference. His single scored Carlos Correa. Ball down is 2-0. Of the Astros' 10 hits, that was just the 2nd extra base hit. Josh Reddick the home run in the 4th. And now Tyler White a double. Rounded towards 3rd. Seager is there. Makes the play for out number 1.
We got a power player for you. It is presented to you by TXU Energy. And speaking of some power, that left-on-left swing from Josh Reddick has been good. It's also been good here at Safeco Field. Getting Ross Detweiler with that. Give you a little bit of a stare down. But if you remember last time through, Zach Duke in his first appearance as a Seattle Mariner gave up his first home run of the season to Josh Reddick.
I like what you're thinking about. Where you're going with that. And then in the next series, in that 4-game series, he faced Reddick 3 different times. So Scott Servais still not afraid of that matchup despite the opening home run, the first game of Duke's Mariners career. Goes the other way. It's 1-1. Since that home run, Duke walked Reddick. He also had him grounding out a couple of times. Lefty Ross Detweiler. Detweiler out of the game with 6 innings of 3-run baseball. Look foul, stays 1-2. Reddick's home run against Duke in that game here at Safeco Field came in this exact scenario. 9th inning, 1 on, 1 out. Gave the Astros a 3-run lead. Inside is 2-2. There's Rondon ready to go. No chase there from Josh. It's 3-2. I see George Springer lurking. Ball 4. Evan Gaddis is coming into the on-deck circle along with George Springer. Who's going to hit for Max Stassi? Whoever doesn't will probably hit for Tony Kemp. Looks like Gaddis will get the first shot after the walk to Reddick. Tony Kemp saying, wait, I'm out of the game?
Sorry. I didn't mean to laugh that loud. It's, having been in that situation, I can laugh a little bit. Wait, what?
There's somebody out there already.
Yep.
Nice game by Tony. Walk and a base hit. Two at bats official. Gaddis will hit for Max Stassi here.
Well, the only interesting thing about that is if George does get into the batter's box, that means he's going to have to play the outfield with the lower extremity issue or discomfort or something.
Which means he's, oh, we've got a new Astros record. Nope, low throw, no. There we go. 6.
Unreal.
6 double plays they've hit into. That is a new Houston Astros franchise record. Let's go places. By Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. And by Jack in the Box. Try something different like Jack's Teriyaki Bowls for a limited time only. One of the benefits of having the smoke around Seattle while we've been here is we've got some pretty views of the moon while we've been around.
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible sight considering what's going on around here in the Seattle area.
Well, here we go. On a night where the Astros set a franchise record with 6 grounded in double plays, they still have a shot to win this one with Hector Rondon coming on up 1.
Yeah, amazingly enough, Hector Rondon in. This is a save opportunity for Hector. In 48 games, he has 13 saves, 18 opportunities. We'd like to be able to convert this one.
He'll have the top of the order due up. Mitch Haniger, Robinson Cano, Gene Segura. So he will have to earn this one in a 1-run game. Mariners getting a run in the 8th inning against Roberto Osuna to make it a 3-2 contest. And the first pitch is a strike to Haniger. Haniger 1 for 4. He has struck out 3 times tonight. 0-2. So on a day when A.J. Hinch was asked about his closer possibly switching to Osuna, Osuna ends up being the setup guy for Hector Rondon.
That was an interesting morning, afternoon, and pregame talk.
Slowly hit towards Alex. 2 hops. Alex makes the strong throw. Haniger out number 1.
Always nice to be able to get that first out of the inning. Good play by Alex charging in. AJ's
so good with the media, so accessible. He's incredible with us here at AT&T Sportsnet. The one thing he doesn't love is always having to name who his ninth inning guy is. So today he can say, well, see, told you.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. After the game, he's going to, well, tonight it was Hector Rondon. Tomorrow it could be totally different. We know he likes playing matchups, and with the analytics that the Astros play with, they always look at matchups, and we hear AJ say the word pocket a lot, and that might be why Osuna was in there in the 8th. Who knows if the intention was to go 2 innings or not.
Rondon facing Robinson Cano, who's 1 for 4. Cano slices one foul.
It's nice to have a couple of backup plans.
Yep.
Presley's a guy I think that he would feel comfortable putting in this situation, but Hector Rondon has been doing a relatively good job, except for the last 2 times out, but he's got the stuff to go out there and close games out.
Fastball away. It's 1-1 to Cano. Cano was the hero last night for Seattle, had a couple of doubles and then that 3-run home run in the 8th to give Seattle a 7-4 victory. Swing and a miss at 99. It's 1-2.
Bring it. It's getting a fastball by a pretty good hitter. Hector Rondon averaging 97 miles an hour on his fastball this season. Wow.
Tried to shoot the edge, just missed. I don't know how Cano took it.
Me neither. He rushed that up there in a pretty good spot just off the outside edge. Maldonado doing everything he could.
.99.4, 99.4, 99.2. He's bringing it in this AB against Cano. High fly ball center field, playable. Tony Kemp, who's still in the game, by the way, makes the play for out number 2. Kemp was being pinch hit for before the Astros hit into their 6th double play.
Just got Cano underneath that pitch. That was a pretty good swing. And regardless of what Robinson Cano was suspended for, he's got one of the prettiest swings on the left side that I've ever seen.
Now deep breath for Rondon as he'll face Gene Segura. Segura grounds one towards short. 2 hops to Correa. And the Astros maintain their spot in first place, tied with the Oakland A's. A 3-2 win. Rondon the save. And in his major league debut, Framber Valdez picks up the victory. A much needed win for the Astros, and the Fortnite jubilation dance on the way in. The Astros still in first, 4.5 games ahead of the Mariners. We will have the post-game show coming up after this.